Hello, welcome to my day 34 of my math vlogs. Today was the day we got our test scores back and we all failed except for our classmate. I'm really happy for him. Honestly, people can say that they can be bummed out from this, but as much as I am, I can say that maybe there is bright sides to it. Well, okay, what are the bright sides? Well, first of all, I was able to understand where I failed, and at least we have a homework to at least redeem ourselves for it. So at least then, it's not something that's so crucial enough for us to like be completely lost, so much so that we just have no more sources of hope. And usually, this should never be good, that you're clinging to the smallest crevices, the little dust specks of hope that is left, because usually that doesn't end up very well. You don't get enough chances from that. You don't get anything to work with from that. But then I learned I learned finally what are these ways that will allow you for these things not to happen again. Well, first of all, I think for the most part, the unit tests were incredibly, incredibly, in hindsight, very easy. I think most of us are just overcomplicating it. And maybe that's a problem of ours, that we're overcomplicating things that seem to be so easy. Second of all, we're not understanding what things are. We're not understanding what they mean, or usually all the answers are hidden in between definitions and in logic. Usually these two things, these are the primary, one of the most basic ways of thinking, without empathy, um, without any use of like long-term thinking, like really deep about something. It usually is just flat out on paper, and maybe we're not used to that. Maybe that's one of the reasons why we failed. But then again, that's no justification to why we failed. I think the only way for us to improve then is that based on our past failures, the only way for us to really go through everything is to really, how do I say this? It's like a way of challenging yourself. It's a way of understanding everything. Understanding everything in its whole perspective, its definitions, its postulates, its properties, what it means, and how it works. Because then, if you exhaust all the possibilities of it working, success is very, very, very reachable. But then, perhaps it's the self-doubt that comes with the struggle of going through things. Perhaps it's the confusion of everything, because usually math is never confusing. It's very linear. And perhaps maybe we're not used to that yet. But then, what's a good thing? The only way for us to improve really is to make use of, the sem break, the next sem break. That is like one of the biggest highlights. And given this time, we should not just be enjoying, relaxing from the stressful week, but rather we should, in everything, improve. Sem break is not just a way of doing things that are enjoyable or just laying back, taking a rest from everything. It's usually improving yourself for what's to come. It's improving yourself, it's to change your character, it's for you to reflect. I like to see it as, if you don't like the image that is reflecting to you in the mirror, and you already blatantly see what is wrong. And usually this helps by evaluating yourself, evaluating your strengths and your weaknesses. And from there, in everything, you can improve. And I think the only way for this to happen is for me to have consistency, because this will happen when I'm in college. This will happen when I'm in work. This will eventually happen from picking myself up from the deepest pit of sorrow and failure, and assuring myself that it will never happen again. It will always happen. Failure is inevitable. But the only way for you to pick yourself up from all these failures is to finally just tell yourself that it is enough and that you can really do your best. And if you are exhausted and you are confident, then that really shows that you've exerted yourself. And the only way to prove that this exertion, this effort, your fatigue is not all gone to waste is your results. And usually, as the saying goes, your results always speak for themselves. So hopefully, after the sem break, after the long, luxurious sem break, it is also a reflection for me to exert myself, that all my tiredness can be put away during summer, can be put away, my tiredness right now can be put away by next week during the sem break, and I will come back and I will see myself in the mirror and I will be proud of what I see. Thank you for watching.